So welcome to another video from theplayersaid.com. My name's Alexander, and today we're taking a look at the new edition of Hammer of the Scots. Hammer of the Scots been around for a long time. This is what I would consider a classic war game, in the sense that it is very popular and a lot of people have a very high opinion of it. It's from Columbia Games. It's designed by Tom Dalglish and Jerry Taylor. This is a two-player block war game, and it's this thing's won a bunch of awards. It's about the Scottish Wars of Independence. Then you have blocks representing different clans and families and factions, and it's fighting over areas within Scotland, basically. That's really what this game is. It is not a particularly long game. Well, let's crack it open and see. So, basically, this, again, game's been around for a long time. This is a new edition they've just kind of revamped. I'm not entirely sure how much is new, but if you've never played a Columbia game before, they come in what's called a little pizza box, because it's just like a pizza box. And you have the little slip cover, which we already took off. And this is exactly what I was expecting from one of these games. We've played a number of Columbia block war games. Some of them are very, very good. But you typically just get a map, a rulebook, a set of stickers, some blocks, and a card. We do have some Bewerbung as well, which is nice. Some advertising, I guess. So here, combat infantry. This is East Front. This is a new one which is coming. Pacific Victory, one of my favourite games. Richard III's excellent. Not played Julius Caesar. Let's see, what else we got? I have Victory, but it's unplayed at the moment. But yeah, they have a whole bunch. Oh, and Harnworld is like an RPG that they do. But yeah, that's advertising. So, what else do we have here? We have, alright. There's a very small deck of cards. Alright. So we have 4 nice large rounded dice, 2 red, 2 blue. And then we have a number of blocks, which we are going to sticker. And these are, if you've played Columbia games, these are quite large blocks, if I'm honest with myself. You can just see how big they are on my tiny, tiny hands. But they are, these are big blocks, but you don't have all that many of them. You have this small, at best, half sheet of stickers to put on them. But if you look, I don't know what it is about these. I really, really like how these blocks look. Now, these are very reminiscent of Richard III, or should I say, Richard III is very reminiscent of Hammer of the Scots, where you have a nice decorated shield that represents, again, a different clans or factions within this. And they just, I don't know, there's something about the look of these that I like. You'll notice around the edge of each sticker is a number of pips or dots, and whichever side is at the top is the strength value, and you'll rotate the blocks as they lose strength values. And they also have in the bottom left hand corner a 2, and in the bottom right hand corner like a B number, and that's to do with their fire priority. The B's and the C's will tell you like the order in which they act during combat, and then usually it's how many dice or to hit roll that they have as well. So we have to sticker all of those on here. Again, it's actually not very many, and it looks deceptive, but it means you'll be able to get this to the table much quicker than some of the other sticker games that I've played. Things like, I feel like Commands and Colors have so many blocks. This one, it's really not many, because they're fairly large. You don't have all that many on the board. We do have a small deck of cards, which say Columbia Games on the back. That is a little bit uninspiring. However, these cards, I presume they're some kind of combat card. 1, 2, 3, and Herald roller die. Yeah. So you got a couple of special little actions at the back. But then these are 1, 2, and 3 value cards. I wonder if this is... Here, let's check the rules. Because we have the rule book here. Card face, both players start every year with 5 cards. They each play 1 face down. So you're going to play a card for initiative, Okay, so it's not combat cards. It's like a little mini CDG. It's a very small deck, but you'll be able to move 1, 2, or 3 different groups of units, presumably. But the rules, I mean, this is a war game, and at best, the rules are like 6 pages. These are scenarios, there's different setups that you can have. But these are very, very easy to learn rules. So, fairly excited about that, because these are examples. These aren't actually rules, so to speak. Which is, it's explanations or examples or historical. So the actual rules are very, very small. So yeah, you'll have a hand of 5 cards, and you'll use one to bid for initiative, then the rest of them, you've got 4 cards to play out your little hand of who you're going to move and attack or recruit and do things with. The last thing we've got in here is the map. And the map is, it is card. This is thick cardstock, but it is card. It's not mounted, it's not paper, and it is, it's quite small. I think this is, I don't even know if this is probably 22, I don't know. Is this 17 by 22? No, it's not that small. But it's not, this is not your average war game size. But you can see the region is divided up, or the map is divided up into small regions. Each region will have a factional allegiance. Typically that's where units start or can be placed if they're raised, that kind of thing. And then there's also different sized cities and towns. But you'll notice the one thing in this game, and this is common with a lot of Columbia games, the borders of the regions are what's really important. So you've got these red borders and you've got these green borders, and I don't know exactly what the values are, but typically the green borders, you can move lots of guys through a green border, and the red borders you can move far fewer, like 1 or 2 at most, kind of a thing. And so if you've got a big army of like 7 guys, you can't march them all through this bad terrain. You'll have to split them off into different groups and then bring them back in. And so what that means is that your forces will arrive at different times when the combat actually begins. So you'll have a main force, and then you go through a turn of combat, and then your relieving forces start coming in. So it makes the movement important for movement purposes, but also for combat purposes. How you then divide up your forces plays a big role in things, because then you start getting into, do I split my good forces so I've got lots of average forces? Or do I have one really big good one and then a couple of weak ones? Well, what if those guys get picked off? It just really, really cool little decisions to make in this game. And I don't know if this is just time or victory points, or if this is the 2 different campaigns. Because there's 2 scenarios. One's Braveheart and one's Robert the Bruce. Yeah, that probably is right. Yeah, 1297 to 1305. Yeah, so there's 2 different campaigns. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Each of them 9 turns long. So this is not a long game by any stretch. Each of you will play 4 cards each turn, and your turns don't take long, especially if you're just moving and raising things. You'll do a combat, and the game kind of takes a pause, and you roll off some combat here and there, but not a long game by any stretch of the imagination. So that's what you get in Hammer of the Scots. I like the production of these games, I really do. I like Columbia block war games. They're not... You have to understand what they are, right? These aren't the crunchiest, most historical con sim of all. They are a really fun way to play in a historical setting that you might not normally have played in. You've got big, strong units, you've got weak units, and it's how do you suffer losses and make the best of combined forces to try and achieve your goals. So I like these games. I'm looking forward to this one again because it's a classic. When you say Columbia games, this is what people think of. People love this game, so I'm excited to get it to the table. We've had fun with their other games that are of the style, so I'm hoping this one's another good one. But appreciate very much you guys tuning in. I've been Alexander from theplayersaid.com.